If the old way worked, I mean, I think there's wisdom to that. If Obama worked, oh yeah,
he's got to be talking about beyond Obama.
I respect that.
If the old way worked, who came before Trump?
Right, it was Obama, and Obama did a lot to tear this country apart. I do not remember when I was growing up having all of these race issues, okay? I really don't remember it. And then suddenly towards the end of Obama, we started hearing all of this rhetoric drummed up. It became white versus black all over again. And I say all over again, I shouldn't even say that, because when I was alive, this was not an issue. But yes, in February of 2007, when I was a senior in high school, I became a social issue while I was sitting on my couch watching a Will Ferrell movie. My phone began ringing that night, and when I saw that the phone calls were private, I sent it to voicemail. At the conclusion of the movie, I noticed that I had 4 missed voicemails, and when I went to listen to them, I was horrified by what I would discover. I heard 4 male voices, and they were alternating. They were sometimes screaming, they were sometimes laughing, they were even at certain points singing. And here are a few excerpts of some of the things that were being said to me. If there's a way to summarize it, in short, they told me that they were going to kill me. They told me things like they were going to tar and feather my family, that they were going to put a bullet in the back of my head as they had done to Martin Luther King. They told me in so many words that I better not be home. I was absolutely traumatized, and in terms of action, I didn't really do much. So that night, I simply cried, and I remember feeling incredibly confused because I couldn't think of 4 individuals, not even one individual, that wanted to see me dead. The next day at school, I confided what had happened to me to my philosophy teacher, and he was adamant. He was like, "You do not let this thing go." And he marched me into the principal's office. And when she heard the voicemails, she had an equally strong reaction, and she made the quick decision to phone the police. And that was the beginning of what would become a very dark period of my life. Because I was absolutely correct in my assessment that there were not 4 individuals that I knew that wanted to see me dead. In fact, it would turn out that 3 of those individuals were complete strangers to me. And by some random stroke of my own misfortune, one of those strangers happened to be the current governor of Connecticut's son. And so the issue very quickly became #politics. And we all know that the figurative hurricane swept right on in. My face was splattered across the front page of every newspaper throughout the state of Connecticut. The FBI was called in due to its unusual strand of high profile to analyze the voice messages and the voices on them. News stations would replay them over and over again because they wanted to make sure everyone was made privy to what a politician's son was involved in. I also had NAACP members who I had never spoken to prior waiting on the front steps of my high school with cameras in tow to speak out on the horrors of what a Black girl was going through.